OKFM 101.7.
Well, Miss Amwa kwa baby o.
Yeah, they are farming.
Na prempe na ojibeka na pierce na se wo sawa.
Freeman house.
Freeman. Oh, okay. I see. Na prof, e dey na amaka se yesi musumu nchade bi o. Moko strike.
Come me that me think jacket here ma was here for. And Eddie I want to commend you for the very good job you have been doing all this while. There, Kwame, I'm sure you remember the last year, UTAG had occasion to withdraw a third of the activities that university lectures say, which was teaching related activities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was because not only was government not showing commitment to far as dealings with him on our conditions of service meetings, but it was because our conditions of service were very dark, and that we felt to say, negotiations meetings in 2017, and that 2020 there was a need for us. Thank you. This is now our conditions of service negotiations now. It is over Kaya. At some point we sat and then signed the memorandum of agreement. Now, memorandum of agreement, the research component of the book and research allowance. I was here doing we're talking I was said by December. Labor market survey, not government, I was all no start here 2019. I was so no yeah, and no any better the market premium. I also invested lecture not here demand. I mean, I will anyway say for in 2013, that the entry level salary for the lecturer with the PhD now is the CD equivalent of $2,300, and then
per annum
$997 CD equivalent. A black family, $7 that the work in own company who are saying a driver book a monk yet.
Na ayi prof, mami musa question bi. First day it's over $2,000.
Yes.
No kura no enye bibi e nwanwa bia o. Ene swati aba $997
CD equivalent.
Ena mote ho.
Family say it's so tough to me I was do. And they say I do.
Sika ya wo kan na just wo de min rounding up nya 6,000 Ghana cedis a month.
Exactly.
Na just e wo 200 Ghana cedis a day.
Me da se kwame.
Aha, and na mo professor Fokra de mu ni guest no ni ade na mo ntra ba bi enwensa. Yes.
Kwame aye pa ho.
Cheza me ya konta bi. Eti say sika no ankasa no etu lecture halls mo komo ba no bi na de petro ni hwa.
Kwame mamita we say so enka ho. The tie ne say presently over the KNUST and I say Okol Legon and I say UCC. You have about 1,100 lecturers doing the work. I was about 3,500 lecturers a year. And I'm saying student lecturer ratio no across. And in Tibia, I was what 20 students to one lecturer, which means 70 students to one lecturer.
Hey,
that is the problem. And I want you another interesting thing. For me, I have said it time and time again. Say, I'm an unrepentant advocate of a fee-free education. In principle, I agree with government's free senior high school policy. I think that it has problems, but then you know what I'm here can say. But in principle, I agree with it. To the extent to say, it increases the number of students are echo SHS. What it means is that potentially the number of students would have to admit in the tertiary institutions because so. I'll give you an example. Last year, KNUS total population 83,000. 11,000 of them graduated last year. Ebeka 7,200. Do you know the anticipated number of students we are having this year? 104,500.
Wow.
Ask whether or not there has been a commensurate increase in the number of lecturers in the university.
Mm-hmm.
And my emphasis is on the word commensurate.
Commensurate.
And yes, we back at you also. Now, see, I have lecturers. But who they compare the number of students we are having? Have you increased the number of lecturers in proportionate terms to the number of students are here? Lecturer
to student ratio, no?
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. That's our problem. And they're talking to me, Kwame. You were aware. Say, now you're a university professor, only appeals court judge. Sometimes the Supreme Court judge the same level. And then offer the university lecturer, university professor salary is chairman at the end of the month. Certain government institutions, entry level salary go for with bachelor's degrees graduate, and go official university professor. Money bank or yes. Money bank. And I found anytime this conversation comes up, then you have people telling you, so there's a COVID economy, the impact of COVID, meaning kick out. The university lecturer no longer wants to hear anything about the so-called COVID economy because it is within the context of the so-called COVID economy. And then you have space for us to 71 office holders emolument. This is not fair. You increase the public sector salary by 4% last year, and this year by a paltry 7%, and you expect us to be clapping. It won't happen.
Sadia way back and forth. Mwakhe noa aban aso na ayeden ana sika na eni ho ana wo mu nsam ye the weaker vessel.
Kwame minyin ni said the medical kan ye ansa na obisa question ye wo sheda tie. Makatre say the popular refrain for many a government appointee speaking to this issue, say the impact of COVID. And now, COVID economy, do you know why?
No.
It is because within that same COVID economy, we have found space to give Article 71 office holders their due. If authority only speaks the language of force or prevents us from speaking in the same tongue, we English book 3, secondary school, our time, book it was a Nigerian writer and a lawyer. But if authority only speaks the language of force or prevents us from speaking the same tongue, in simple terms, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. If within the context of the so-called COVID economy, we have found space to attend to the needs of Article 71 office holders, within that same space, within that same context, we should find space. Once upon a time.
Now, say, would you say Yabenya a new lexicon in these Article 71 holders? Yabenya Article 4 holders. You teacher for now, you're 4%.
Sometimes I go 40 years, I will catch you. I am the own table for. But to go for no state, your pronunciation, phonetics, or a new lexicon. But ever known to offer.
Hey, but me, Dr. Tinibu.
I mean, but
the media me be jayo.
With the rich industrial experience you have, that's why you take the account. Now you are class here. Why then spend on? So the conditions in the class are such that only our baby, the class is a better crack. Oh, my Emma metre. That is our problem. Now, one won't deal with. Last, in one of the negotiation meetings, the minister in charge of showed up for the very first time and the only time. Do you know the question he posed to us? Where are we going to get the money from? Very insulting. But we put the question to do as the 71 office holders. Did ask them that question. Signed up to look for revenue. We signed up to teach. We signed up to research. We signed up to offer service to our community. That we have done to the best of our ability. It is his responsibility as the Minister of Finance to look for money and give us our. We are not asking to be giving breadcrumbs. No. We are asking for flour that we can make our own bread. And in the and common now, allowance. First of all, it is not everybody benefits from that kind of allowance. That's the first point. The second point is what you're saying. These allowances have absolutely no impact on our pension. That's a problem. Okay? Elsewhere, university professors retire on their salary. Do High Court judges, Supreme Court judges not retire on their salaries?
Yes.
For 30 years.
But the amentias and say, who Kaiser Kane Nat Ghana National Association of Teachers.
Yes.
Now a DB a t-shirt, now DB Guachi. If you can read this, thank a teacher.
Thank you.
teacher no one on a medicine.
Yes.
Pharmacology.
Yes.
Humanities.
Right.
Need the keke ho nyina. Ansan will be to me the judge, what the lawyer, lecturer, what the specialist, lab scientist, whatever. No, na ketuyanye. Ye ka wo no busan say, Marco first can work.
Aye. Now, probably what about the interesting thing? Let's just correct this so that people don't get you wrong. It would be rather simplistic for anybody to suggest that because a teacher, a medical doctor, not the class one, in the offense salary, a medical doctor. That's not what you are saying.
No.
You are saying, sir, to the extent that the teacher has contributed to who the doctor has become. And was said in Germany, I came to Germany. Go and find out the conditions that teachers. I'm not saying say Germany can because the moment you make that statement, I need Germany. But you see, when it suits the politicians, they make comparisons with places like Germany, they make comparisons with places like Kenya. The sad thing for me as I speak as a UTAG president, I'm a medical doctor, you know that. And when doctors go on strike, they only say, sadly, but here at university lecturers, when we go on strike, and so people should understand that the decision to go on strike is not taken lightly. But I mean, in the past 2 years, the number of our members are now over about 95% of them are stress related. And stress is a stress of work. And strips are also marking, timelines are also BT and then kick. We are not asking for anything. We are asking for our due. We are asking for what you as paid us. Sometimes you give me 125 CDs a month. Some research. Some research men outcome one. The length of time we have spent in this conversation. Can you imagine if the conversation was about my latest research at me and its impact on the Ghanaian society? But no, we cannot have time to talk about that because those whose responsibility it is to ensure that my conditions of service are such as to keep me in the classroom have decided that and form.
Now,
there has ever been a time that the university lecturer is very resolute in his demands for his fair share. It is now.
Now, maybe sad dear Bakokra say, Yamau some poetry of money to do research on pedagogy or andragogy in these contemporary times.
Right.
Now, Sabre in the wake of COVID, now you want to say, okay, e-learning, you better be a baby. Now, sa research, no, and near me says a compano. I don't think it's even $30,000 a year.
Could be 125 cities a month between here.
What's it?
I'm saying 125 cities a month.
And Kenny Pakuani so.
Now,
the science and art of teaching in these contemporary times.
Thank you.
Pedagogy.
My heart goes out to the many parents out there. They are confused. Schools have reopened. And then you are hearing that lecturers are on strike and then kick up. The question to ask is, could this have been avoided? The answer is yes, it could have been avoided. Whose responsibility was it to prevent this present state of affairs? It was the responsibility of our employers, i.e., government, acting through fair wages, acting through the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations. And can you imagine, time for the Ministry of Finance? Now, any more responsibility to keep us in the classroom. Now you have this question posed to you, that hitting the business country. Wow. Are we serious as a country? And I heard something yesterday. Let me take this opportunity to address it. I'm going to say, If you are the opposition, in the unity. You know where my sympathies lie.
There you do. I know. Very well.
And it makes absolutely no sense for anybody to impute political motives on our part. Say, position the show making. That's a fact lie, and that's disrespectful.
Say, yeah, channel on three main planks. One, akatuano na mo pese eto baabi eda. Na se ento baabi eda pa na. What are you thinking of?
The salary component, there are two components, the basic salary and the market premium. Now, market premium has to do with the dispensability or replaceability of the lecture or otherwise. So what it means is that the more irreplaceable, the more indispensable the lecture, the set of skills, the higher the premium.
Question ba kokora ni se sa lecturer or training neurology.
Right.
Lecturer ba kon ono kura no se ba anatomy.
Right.
Wonye easy.
Yeah.
And ebi o wa betimi anya bi.
Ebi o ho so
delay.
And no determine the market. In 2013, now market premium 114% of the basic salary. And 54% of the basic salary. Do you know why? It is not as though you have skill set. It is because labor market survey on which the market premium is based. 2014. No white paper was issued. That determined the market premium and the and the 2019 after a year, the report now go and study the report. But the report does nothing to the market premium. What the report does, it tracks the number of the skills and for the manager of 36 skill sets. Almost realizes the health sector, any tertiary education, science and research, highly scarce. And it is almost cost to hit the market premium. For market premium naturally also. But set a beya issue white paper I determine market premium. I only ask them. Now the MIA and Crown in 2014, a similar market survey was done. No white paper was issued. You can't find it. In the event that we market survey will be now or white paper now a determined market premium in the area. Let us go back to the 2013 market premium. Pending the determination of the present market premium.
Na profit wo because yi mu adaroma ade mu atwe ache ada na mo ntwe na yi levy yam pass nwie wi a se bia bibia ba fan
nkobo ya odi ma papa su die ma men ka se bi sho ba no nye ya be we of giving
because obusa mo say ye be kwa go first kind of free and we sinya
that 11 it was not well thought through. I have friends in parliament who tell me say last minute inclusion in the budget that 11. Again, do you know why many Ghanaians are opposed to this idea of the levy? It is because a large number of Ghanaians do not think that this government has been a good protector of the public purse. It is the reason why people are not.
And just one more person who says, "Can I be quiet, dear baby, potty?"
That is what it is. It is not until people are convinced, and only the irony of it, of the the pardon. And it's once upon a time in 1995, and would you know it was weapon. Nanado, then an opposition leader of sorts, led a demonstration in Ghana. Do you know what the reason was? It was because the government at the time wanted to institute a VAT, and many Ghanaians believed then that it was not right, like they do now. Incidentally, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is the president today. But do you know what the problem is? There are a lot of people around the president who are not telling the president the kind of things he needs to hear. It is because every one of them is playing the Titanic. When we say that they are playing the Titanic, they are crying at the beauty of the opera while the ship is sinking. You know why? It is because.
And that was in 1923. It happened in 1923.
That's it. It is because when they tell him what he needs to hear, your people will be in our life, in our body politics, where defense is equated to disloyalty. And at any point in time where you express something opinion, they say, any panel or disloyal, and there are a lot of things that are going on down here that they may not know. I have said that if a president, if a leader, your only source of information and the conventional source of information and communication flow, you are setting yourself to fail. It is because only access to the real sentiment on the ground, not until you find unconventional informal ways of getting information as to what pertains on the ground, forget it. And there are many people who bear leadership titles, who hold leadership positions, who are not leaders. Merely because a person is occupying a leadership position or holds a leadership title, does not make him a leader. And there are many people around him who are not leaders, who are holding certain positions. It is the reason why we find ourselves in our present predicament. Because a real leader will not come to us to come and ask us where he's going to get the money from, when he knows that it is not our responsibility to look for the money.
Now, since January, a simple meeting be, and what was the outcome?
The meeting was to submit a copy of the labor market survey report to us. And I'll tell you, the report that was submitted to us was not a draft report. It is the finished product. If you have the input to and then what?
So if it was submitted in draft form, and what you can.
It makes a difference. And this is the finished product. Because ultimately, we are not looking at the report per se. We are looking at the market premium. And then emanating from that report. It is the only report in the mind, and now the two have to say. So far as market premium goes, based on this report, these are the values. Munkonko said these are values where I expect taking effect January 22. Now, there's a difference. But when the report, the mind and Konko said the report with the greatest of respect to them, and he said in credit. But that would be the man can say in the room. But what is the fact?
What you publish it? Why, yeah, and yet, Madam Senior, a basic work. We judge me, my friend, watching near Bonkomo. Mate, Prof. Bye bye. Okay, 101.7. Professor Ochre Ademensa, UTAG President, KNUST, any natural comment.
OKFM 101.7.